everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It's Saturday Night Live. We like Saturday Night Live. We'll do a bit of a Q&A in a bit. But Manchester United have reportedly made a huge transfer bid for a Serie A centre-back that many of you will like. His name is Kalidou Koulibaly, and the Gazzetta dello Sport are reporting that Manchester United have made a bid of £130 million to bring him to Manchester United this summer. Now, my initial thoughts on this are that we are never ever going to make that sort of a signing. £130 million. Edward would be having open wallet surgery at this moment if we were about to do that. But it's interesting because Gazzetta dello Sport are a good outlet in Italy, and Koulibaly is a player that I believe he will leave Napoli this summer. They are obviously going to be playing Arsenal very soon in the Emmerdale Cup, and I would hope that they do knock them out. But Champions League football may well be a problem for them. And I think that he's a player that at 27 years of age, I think he's 27. Is he 28? I don't know. He's coming up for 28 or he's currently 27. But I think he's certainly the sort of player that Manchester United fans would want. We all really do want that sort of player. And I think he will be looking to make a move this summer. The thing I look at this is £130 million is just ridiculous. We will not spend £130 million on a centre-back. I mean, Van Dijk, we laughed at Van Dijk going for 75 million just over a year ago, and actually that was good value, I've got to say. I don't have any time by Liverpool for Liverpool, but I do think that he's turned out to be good value at 75 million, but that doesn't mean you double it and pay that for Koulibaly. What he would bring is dominance. He's good on the ball. He's strong. He's fast. And I think he would come into Manchester United and be our best centre-back. And that's no mean feat, because I think Lindelof's done very well for us, but I think Koulibaly's on another level. I think Koulibaly is one of the few centre-backs in world football who could go toe-to-toe with Van Dijk. I mean, again, I don't like Liverpool, but Van Dijk is easily in the top 5 centre-backs in the world. And I think that's what Manchester United need to be looking at. What do I think we would get him for? I personally think we'd get him for 80 million. I don't think we'd have to spend much more than 80 million. I think that's what we should be looking to do. As I've said before, 130 million for Koulibaly is too much. I want Ndombele, says Marklet Bridge. But Ndombele is not a centre-back. I would hope that you know that. But it's interesting because Skriniar, the Italian Inter Milan, centre-back, is. I remember talking about this at the start of the season. And I don't think it's any secret that Mourinho was very interested in Koulibaly and Milan Skriniar. And obviously we didn't get those deals done. And whether we're still interested in those two players or not, I don't know. There was talk of a £73 million bid for Skriniar at the start of the week. And I was like, shall I mention it on a show? But it was quite a weak story. And I thought, no, I'm not really going to go down that route. But Skriniar or Koulibaly would be great. Now, Skriniar was meant to be signing a new contract at Inter Milan. He hasn't actually done that yet. So, maybe he is in the offing. But I think the most important thing, as I said the other night, is that Manolas, and I'm a big fan of Manolas, and people will say, don't be a hypocrite, Mark, because you've been going on about Manolas for a long time. I wanted us to sign Manolas when Van Gaal was here. The thing with Manolas is, since that time, he's not really mentioned as one of the best centre-backs in Europe. He does okay. He's basically Serie A's equivalent of Harry Maguire. And is that good enough for Manchester United? And I don't know. I don't know. I think he's a good player, but is he better than Lindelof? The centre-back we need to sign, we need to sit back and go, bloody hell, we're buying a world-class centre-back here. That's what we need. That's why there's a debate about whether we need a centre-back, because unless it's a world-class centre-back, I would say we don't need one, because you've got Lindelof, you've got Bailly, you've got Smalling, you've got Jones, you've got Rojo. That's 5, all right, varying centre-backs, but the 5 centre-backs there. The only reason to go and buy a centre-back is if you're buying somebody who's better than all 5 of those. And I don't think Manolas is. I don't think Manolas is any better than Lindelof, and I don't think he's any better than Bailly. All right, Bailly might go because his face doesn't fit, but Manolas is no better than him. If you get Koulibaly and you sell Bailly, then you say, well, yeah, we're getting somebody far better. If you get Milan Skriniar and you move Eric Bailly on, you're getting somebody better. That's what you need to look at. But I would agree, £130 million would be too much for Koulibaly. But it's good that that's there, because if you look at Koulibaly and people say, oh, we won't get him, well, where's he going to go? Where's Koulibaly going to go? Jose Mourinho is the threat with Koulibaly. Jose Mourinho wants Koulibaly. Jose Mourinho doesn't have a club at the moment. Jose Mourinho, if he goes to PSG, I think they'll get Koulibaly because he will want to piss United off. If he'd gone to Real Madrid, I think they would have got Koulibaly. If he goes to Inter Milan, they won't get Koulibaly. So Mourinho is the threat with Koulibaly. And PSG may be a threat anyway. But if United want to do that deal, they can do that deal. Philip Burtonwood says, we have to be ruthless in the market and have some sort of structure in place, or we will be left behind. We will. I've just got to say something actually very, very quickly. I should have said this at the start of the video. I put the links in the video description. Please make sure that, please, hopefully they work. They do. Okay, so below the first paragraph where it says subscribe to the United Stand, I've got 2 links. United Stand Instagram, Mark Goldbridge Instagram. You may or may not be aware that tomorrow is a very, very big day for you and this channel. It's the United Stand FC trials. We've got 2 big games coming up in May, and we're going to be part of the league during the summer. So lots and lots of excitement. We've got people from all over the country, some would say the world, coming tomorrow to the trials. And we will be doing things, but because it's hard to do it on YouTube live, we're going to be doing it live on Instagram, so Instagram stories. So if you want to see me and flex and rants and be involved in the trials tomorrow, we're going to be having doing a few challenges as well. Follow us on Instagram. The links are in the video description for the United Stand and my channel, my Instagram. So we'll be doing it on there, so make sure you follow us. Would you like to see Julian Brandt in a United shirt, says Smart Got. I think he's a good player. He's a good player. He's German. He's a good player. I'm not very good at German, but he is a good player. But no, he's a good player. He's a good player. I was going to say something else, but no, he's a good player. I'm not going to say that. Maguire is more likely to happen than Koulibaly, says Loud Steel. It's interesting because Drawty was talking about this earlier on, and there seems to be a lot of negativity around Harry Maguire, and it's almost like Luke Shaw. You know, I'm a big fan of Luke Shaw, and there's a lot of United fans that aren't, and there's a lot of fans that are, and I just don't get why people don't like Luke Shaw. But most importantly, Harry Maguire is a bit like that, and I wanted Harry Maguire in the summer. He had a very, very good World Cup, and we were linked with a £70 million bid, and I was like, I think it's a good signing, and if we bought Harry Maguire in the summer, I'd be quite happy with it because he's a left-sided centre back. He's very good in the air. He's good on the ball, and for his size, he's relatively. I mean, I think Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof would be a very good centre back partnership because Lindelof actually works better on the right side of the centre-back too, but at the moment, because we haven't got a left-sided centre-back, he has to play on the left, whereas Harry Maguire would play in that position. You'd probably get Harry Maguire for £70 million, which is fair. It's a fair price. So I'd be very happy with Harry Maguire. I'd prefer Koulibaly. I'd prefer De Ligt. But if we got Harry Maguire, I would say, get it in the live comments. James says Maguire is decent, not great, and I think that's a fair point. Phil says he's too slow. Harry Maguire is good, but I would prefer Jimenez and De Ligt, says Tyrone Williams. Well, look, I was just going to say that if you could choose your top 5 candidates to be the United centre back that we buy in the summer, for me, it would be De Ligt number 1, Koulibaly number 2, Milan Skriniar number 3, Harry Maguire number 4, and I'm not going to put Varane in there because it's not going to happen. So I can't think of a 5th. Jimenez would be very good, you're right. But so I wouldn't put Manolas in my top 5 for United, and we'd probably end up with him. Just on Rafael Varane, we did speak about him at the start of the week. He has spoken on international duty and said it's nonsense that I'm unhappy at Real Madrid. I'm very happy at Real Madrid. So, exactly what we all predicted, really. Oniukibi Enmiki says we have to sign Neves and Ndombele if Herrera leaves. Herrera doesn't look like he's going to leave. There was a comment from one of his entourage saying that the talks of him going to PSG are very wide of the mark, and there is an expectation that he will be staying at Manchester United, which is a positive thing. When is the United Stand night in Dublin, says Cola. God, mate, I tell you what, thanks for the contribution. We are so busy at the moment that it's not that we don't want to have a night in Dublin. It's that we literally don't have time to arrange a night in Dublin because we would need to sort a pub out, which means contacting a load of pubs. Can you close it off for us? Do we need to ticket a fence it? Do we need, can we have mics and everything? Can we film it? And it just takes a lot of planning when we're doing all the normal content that we do for you anyway. We've got the United Stand football team. There's so much going on, but I definitely want to do something like that. Definitely do. Ultric Fla says Maguire is a really good Smalling. And Delit, Koulibaly, Maguire, Boateng and Skriniar. James Sayers, why have you put Jerome Boateng in there? You've ruined a really good top five. You've got Delit, Koulibaly, Maguire, Skriniar, and then you put Jerome Boateng in there. He's shit, mate. He's absolutely shit. That's what Mourinho wanted to sign last year. He is crap. Jerome Boateng is rubbish. Absolute shit. And I think he's about 31 now. Oh, God, don't. I'd rather have Phil Jones on crutches than Jerome Boateng. I really would. He's rubbish. Absolutely gets torn apart by pace. Absolutely torn apart by pace. Nick, oh God, you're wasting my time having to go and do this. Really, I'll have to go and do it because he's asked me to. What I also want to talk about is there was something in the Mirror today. Now, take it with a pinch of salt, but I don't think it's too far wrong. And basically what it was is they listed all United's wages from top to bottom. So you've got Alexis Sanchez at the top, 350. Then I think you've got Pogba and Martial around 250. Luke Shaw and Romelu Lukaku around 200. You've got a few players like Mata, 140, £140,000 a week. I think Phil Jones and Young around £110,000 a week. But I thought, the most interesting thing with this is the mess I perceive at Manchester United in relation to the wages that we're paying and how problematic it is. Because we're like, instead of paying the doctors, the people that are curing Manchester United, instead of giving them the most money, we're giving the money to the disease, like Sanchez and Lukaku and Phil Jones. They're getting way more money than people like Herrera and Rashford. And like Herrera and Rashford are the cure. And people like that, at the moment, they're the problem. So it's wrong. It's totally wrong at United. Our wage structure is a mess. And I think the Alexis Sanchez one is the real headline one because he's paid so much more than anybody else, and it's something we need to resolve. And I don't care what anybody says. If you work somewhere and somebody in your workplace is paid a lot more money than you, but they're worse at the job than you, we can all walk around doing dabs and smiley faces because we're getting loads of commercial deals. But it will grate on you. It will grate on you that somebody is earning. Well, Alexis Sanchez is earning £100,000 a week more than Pogba earns. Alexis Sanchez is earning nearly £300,000 a week more than Herrera earns. And he's earning £200,000 a week more than people like Marcus Rashford earns and Jesse Lingard's earning. So £250,000 a week more than Jesse Lingard's earning. So it will cause an issue. It will cause an issue. And I think it is something that United need to address. And they need to be very careful about it in the future because you cannot have a problem like that. Nick, would you take Ndembele over Ruben Neves? No, I wouldn't. And Alex Marmon says, what about Harry Maguire for 60 million reportedly? It's an interesting one. If you could get him for £60 million, I think he would be a good signing. And Kohler says £130 million for Koulibaly is too much, and I want Ndembele, which I think I'd already said before. But with regards to Ndembele or Neves, I think Ndembele is the sort of player that excites Manchester United fans. I don't know whether we're even in for Ndembele. I don't. I've got no idea whether we're going to be in for him or not. But Ruben Neves, I don't think we're going to get Ruben Neves. He's a client of George Mendes, and George Mendes just seems very reluctant to do any business with Manchester United, even when we had Jose Mourinho as manager, who is his client. So I just don't see that happening, if I'm totally honest with you. But maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Marius Larson says, we should sign Neves from Wolves. He's, for me, the most important signing. Don't let City get him. I first thought Ruben Neves was 28, but he's just 22 and he will get a lot better. He's a fantastic player. I just don't think we'll get him. I think there's more chance of him going to a Manchester City or a Liverpool than a Manchester United. Who decides what player we buy? Ed or do they vote? Says Smuck Beers. At the moment, my guess would be that Ed Woodward is the man deciding it. I actually got sent something today from I got an email from somebody today and who said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had said to a Norwegian reporter that he can categorically say that he has not been offered the Manchester United job as of yet. Now, whether that's true or whether it's not, that if he's not been offered the job, how can he have anything to do with transfers in the summer? You can't. You can't. So the only person who's definitely in a job of power is Ed Woodward. So he's the man picking our transfers in the summer. I hope he gets it right. I hope he watched the show. You're right, I forgot he's Mendez's client, says Nick 30271. It doesn't mean Ruben Neves is impossible, but we don't seem to sign George Mendes clients. And the best one for me was Fabinho. And we were linked to him for years. And we could have got him because his agent is Mourinho's agent. And he went to Liverpool. So, and Fabinho said himself that it was never any offer, never any talk of me going to United. And he would have been perfect for us. What do you think of Ante Rebic as United's right winger? Says Lovro Drzinic. I think that Rebic is a good player. I don't think he's of the calibre that Manchester United need. And I say that in all due respect. It's the same as the centre-back position. There are 3 positions that United need to strengthen in this summer. There are a couple of positions where it would be nice to strengthen. I think right back and a backup forward. But the 3 we need to strengthen in, according to me, are centre-back, CDM and right winger. But it cannot be Manolas. It cannot be I don't know who the midfielder could be. But the right winger, it can't be Rebic and Manolas. They're good, but those 3 positions need world-class players in them. The signings we make for those positions have got to be significant. So for me, it would be Koulibaly, Ndombele and Sancho. Go for the best. All right, 2 of them might flop, 3 of them might flop, but at least go for the best. On paper, everyone's going to go, they're fantastic signings. And Ndombele looks like he's going to be world-class. Sancho looks like he's going to be world-class. Koulibaly looks world-class. That's what we need to do in them positions, and I don't think Rebic is or ever will be world-class. Elite Gamer says, if we bought Koulibaly, then the only way we can get Sancho is by selling Pogba, and this worries me. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. I think that Manchester United can sign Koulibaly and Sancho. I do. Whether we will or not, I don't know. We have got the money. I mean, Koulibaly would probably cost you... I would say Koulibaly would cost you 80 million. I think Sancho would cost you 80 million. So that's 160 million. And I think you could get Ndombele for about 40 to 50 million. So you could get those 3 players for just north of 200 million. And that for me would be... I would be happy for the transfer business to be done then. If you sold Lukaku as well, that net comes down to 150 million, and then maybe you're going to get a backup striker. So we can do it. It just depends how much we want to spend. So apparently Barella has gone to AC Milan, says Michael Williams. I don't know about that. If that is true, it wouldn't surprise me because this happens a lot. Although there's nothing official on that. But it happened with Bernardeschi as well. I like Bernardeschi. He went from Fiorentina to Juventus. Italians tend to stay in Italy. I mean, they do. No to Koulibaly because he's got no development in him. Look, that's why I put De Ligt number 1. I don't think we'll get De Ligt. I think he'll end up at Barcelona, but that's why he would be my number 1. Sell Lukaku, says Cola. Well, I would love to see Lukaku and Sanchez move on this summer for the simple reason I just don't think that they can offer us anything. Very interesting, actually. I'm just looking down at something on here that I'd underlined, and I don't normally do this. I wanted to get your opinion on this. Lionel Messi obviously played for Argentina last night, and they lost 3-1. Which, this is why I'm not scared of Lionel Messi. He's the best player in the world, but I'm not. You know, he can have a. He's not a superhero. He's a super player, but he's not a superhero. But he's gone back to Barcelona with a bit of an injury, and people are like rubbing their hands together. Oh, Messi's going to be out. And I'm going to not be a hypocrite on this. I'm going to say I don't want Messi to be out. I didn't want Neymar to be out, and I didn't want Ronaldo to get suspended when we all thought he was going to get suspended. I want us to play Barcelona with Messi. I don't want Messi to be injured. I don't think he will be injured, but I want us to play Barcelona with Messi. I don't want us to play Barcelona without Messi. And I just want to get your comments on it because I know there'll be people going, "You're mad? Are you mad? Of course we want to play him without him. We've got a better chance." But I'm not like that. I like to play I like to play the big challenge. I like to play teams at their best. As long as we're at our best, hopefully we don't have any injuries as well. But I hope he does play. Oil Guarantees League, exciting football and players, says Onyiki and Miki. And Koulibaly is a strong player, and that's what's needed, says Michael Jones. I wouldn't like Troy Deeney at the club, Pellicurts. No, I wouldn't. Ronaldo is the best player in the world, says Galvatron Cartman. Well, I'm not getting into that one. You know, I'm a massive fan of Ronaldo, though, as everybody knows. Messi injured, maybe mind games for us to underestimate Barcelona like we did in the first leg against PSG, says Hamza Hussein. And you know what? I think you're right there as well, Hamza. I think if Messi was out, psychologically, we'd think we've got an easier job. And they're still a very, very good team. And I think he'll be fit anyway. Apparently, that Rittrup Gosh says Smalling knows how to pocket him anyway. There was a quote going out this week from Smalling saying that he's got a plan to stop Messi. I think it's a fake quote. Amar Khan makes a good point. He says, personally, I think we need a world-class striker. Rashford can't hold the ball up and isn't strong enough. What do you think? I think that with regards to Rashford, the jury is probably out, but I do like Rashford. I'm a big fan of his. If you're asking me if Icardi was available, would I go for him? Well, you know my answer to that. It's a flat yes, 100%. I would go for Icardi, and I would deal with the problem of Rashford once I'd got Icardi. So I would like Icardi at Manchester United, yes. And he is a world-class striker as far as I'm concerned. And he can hold the ball up, and he would score a lot of goals in the United shirt. And I'd like to see Lukaku going the other way. If that means Rashford's got to work harder, fine. But I would say I want Rashford to be our number 9. I think he's got the potential to be it. But if we could get Icardi, I would go for him. So yeah, definitely. I don't want Griezmann, Gertek Singh. I don't want Griezmann anywhere near our club. No, I don't. Tony Kroos to United rumours, says Wazim Akram. I'm glad you mentioned that. I was going to talk about it. So there's a rumour that United have been offered a price for Tony Kroos. I like Tony Kroos. You know what my answer's going to be? No. This is another player who is approaching 30 that the top clubs don't want anymore, who would be coming to our club on the decline for a big payday. Is he motivated? Where's the hunger? We've done this with Sanchez. We've done it with Matic. I don't want to see it doing again. What's the future for United in signing Tony Kroos? We're a team that's probably 2 years off winning the title. You sign Tony Kroos at his age now. By the time we're ready to go for a title, he's into his 30s. It makes no sense. These are the sort of signings that Mourinho wanted, and maybe Woodward wants. But it's not what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should want. Tony Kroos is a brilliant player, but he's not the player we need to go for. These players coming towards the end of their careers that big clubs don't want anymore. You know what we should be doing? Instead of going for Tony Kroos or Gareth Bale from Real Madrid or Coutinho from Barcelona that they don't want anymore, we should be going for Sancho, De Ligt, and Ndombele and all the players that Barcelona and Real Madrid want. We should be going for them. We should be going for the next big thing, not the has-beens. That's my feeling on it. Pradney Awadki, Smalling's plan is to not play in either of the legs. That might help us. And James Maddison's a good player, Chris Maloney. I don't know whether he's a United player, though. A lot of people saying Kroos can sod off. Although Kroos, Pogba and Herrera would be an epic midfield, says Plaman Alaznov. It would, you're right. You know what? I always quantify this by saying, if we signed Gareth Bale, I don't want to sign him. But I won't be there the day we sign him going, piss off Gareth Bale, because I don't do that. I didn't really want Lukaku. I didn't really want Matic. The videos are there. But I backed them and I gave them the support that we should do as a fan base. So if we do sign Tony Kroos, or we do sign Coutinho, or we do sign Gareth Bale, I will register my displeasure, but the minute they put on a United shirt, they will get the support they deserve, because that's what you get. I mean, even Fellaini, I'd never wanted him. I really couldn't stand him. But when he came for the first 5 minutes, I did sort of back him, and then I didn't. But no, I would back them, but I don't think they're the right sort of signings for what Ollie needs, to be honest. The huge bid is from Gazzetta dello Sport, Chewy, £130 million for Koulibaly. I think it's bollocks. But it's still nice that we're linked with a player that I think would make a big, big difference for us. Please do smash a like on the video, everybody, and subscribe if you are new. It is United Stand FC trial day tomorrow. I shouldn't be on the gin, really. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. The link's in the video description. Just open up the video description. You'll see a link to my Instagram page and the United Stand. Make sure you follow both, because we were doing Instagram stories live on those accounts tomorrow. You'll get your updates on there. We're live. We've got 8 o'clock show tomorrow night on here, but that won't be about United Stand FC. So if you want to see the trials, what's going on, all the stuff on there, we'll be doing it on the Instagram pages. Link in the video description. With that, Rabiot's name I can see in the live comments being mentioned a lot. I still think Rabiot will go to Barcelona. I still think he will. And Jin 666. Here's to you, Jin. But he makes a good point. 130 million for a 27-year-old is ridiculous. We wouldn't pay that. James Rodriguez, says Paran Shah. See, I like James Rodriguez. I like James Rodriguez, and I'm just going to type this in just to absolutely contradict myself, because we all contradict ourselves. Let's be honest. We're all fickle at times. It's just how fickle you are. I'm not very fickle, but sometimes I am. See, James Rodriguez, I'm going to do it. I've just said no to Toni Kroos and no to Gareth Bale because they're approaching 30. But James Rodriguez is 28 in July, whereas Toni Kroos has just turned 29, so he'd be 30. Yeah, see, Toni Kroos is too old. Effectively, James Rodriguez is a bad signing for Manchester United because he's 28 in the summer and he's another of those players that big clubs don't want. Real Madrid didn't want him. Bayern don't want him. But I've always liked James Rodriguez, so I would like to get him. Even though he's 28, I will contradict myself there. But realistically, I only would like him. I mean, I watched the video when we signed Bastian Schweinsteiger. I was going mad. I loved Bastian Schweinsteiger. I was just so happy to sign him that I sort of ignored his age and the fact that he was injury prone and past his best. I was just over the moon that we'd signed Schweinsteiger. And it was a mistake. And I think James Rodriguez would be the same sort of mistake. He's 28 this summer. Bayern and Real Madrid don't want him for a reason. He's not the sort of player for United. Although I would get excited about it, I've got to use my head and say he's not the right sort of player for United. He's not what United need. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a young manager who's learning his way in the game, and he will do better with a squad that is learning their way in the game. The next thing to learn together. James Rodriguez, no, not for me. But I do like him a lot. Chins up. Koulibaly perfect for United. I'd be happy with him and Sancho this summer, says Paul Palms Aquatics. I'll be over the moon with those two, mate. And 20 times Man United. Hey, Mark, big fan of the show and what you're doing. Keep it up. Cheers from New Jersey, USA, up the Reds. Cheers, everybody, wherever you're watching. It's Saturday night. Keep your questions flying in. Mud says we could give Koulibaly, we could give Napoli 80 million plus Rojo and Darmian. We could give him Phil Jones as well. James is better than Pogba, says Football XD. He isn't, though, is he? He really, really isn't. Who's in goal for Spain tonight? A lot of people said Spain have gone 1-0 up. Who plays in goal for Spain tonight? Is De Gea in goal? Because I'd heard that Kepa gets picked, which amazes me. What do you think about all these international withdrawals, says Hebron Fekir? I think it's interesting because from an English point of view, they've got a very good squad. I mean, Luke Shaw withdraws. You've got to look at it from a United point of view. Luke Shaw withdraws and Chilwell plays. He's very good. Will Luke Shaw get back in? Lingard withdraws. You get Hudson-Odoi and Sancho doing well. Will he get back in the team? Rashford withdraws. You've got Harry Kane and Sterling doing very, very well. So, but do I give a shit? I mean, realistically, the only time I really watch international football is when there's a major tournament. And I think this international break has been good because it's given a lot of people a rest. But as a football fan, it's been a dead couple of weeks, really, hasn't it? I mean, we've spoken about transfers and, I love doing the United Stand and the community we've got is great. But, we've missed the football, let's be honest with you. And the positive is we've had a lot of players getting rested up. I mean, it's going off from next week, isn't it? I just can't wait. Watford, Wolves, Barcelona. It's just going to be an amazing, amazing April. It's the calm before the storm. But the international break has been used quite effectively by United. And apparently De Gea is in goals. Thanks for that, Barras, Ilya and Arturo. What about Yuri Tielemans, says Taj Singh. He's a player I quite liked. I don't know how well he's doing at Leicester. What do you think of Pogba's assist for Griezmann, says Sophie. Thanks to all the mods tonight, including Soph, by the way. I think that Pogba is a fantastic player. And I just think we need to chill on Pogba. The Real Madrid comments weren't great, but I would take them with a pinch of salt and let's see what happens next. And also, I would also take with a pinch of salt his performances against Wolves, because Pogba actually did okay against Arsenal. All the thick Arsenal fans saying that he got pocketed by Xhaka are talking crap. He actually played quite well in that game. He didn't play very well against Wolves, but in the previous 3 months, he's been consistently brilliant. And he did very well for France. And I think that's the Pogba we're going to see in April. And if we see that in April, you can't just take one bad performance from Pogba against Wolves and say, oh, he's inconsistent and he's shit. Because he's played very, very well under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Very, very well indeed. And I suspect that that's what we're going to see in April. So I was pleased to see the assist. It was very, very good. It was a good goal by Griezmann as well. And I think that's what we're going to see from Pogba next month. Saj Sharan Teja Gurpalani says, we will get Maguire as centre-back. We will not spend on centre-back. Well, we will get Maguire as a centre-back and we will not spend on a centre-back. But Maguire will cost us at least £60 million. That's a lot of money to spend on a centre-back. That's what I would say. Would I take Titi, says Morgan Rakes. No, because Barcelona don't want him anymore and he played around with us last year. He used us for a new contract. I heard some news site that De Gea wanted double his salary to sign a new contract. Do you think it's true, says Pelcut? I would imagine it is true. I don't know what De Gea is paid at the moment, but I think it's less than £200,000 a week. And if Sanchez is on £400,000 a week, you could imagine De Gea saying, I want £400,000 a week. I mean, the bottom line is that the wages that Alexis Sanchez gets has totally and utterly disrupted the Manchester United squad. It has. I mean, the bottom line is, why should De Gea and Pogba not say, I want £400,000 a week? This is the problem. They never should have paid Alexis Sanchez that money. He wasn't worth it. But the minute you do it, you ruin your whole structure within the club. Because De Gea is the best player in the club. And he can easily, it's like any job. Any job. You can be working in bloody Curry's, the electronics shop, and you could be the best salesperson in there. And you could see old John, who's got half the sales you've got, and he's on 400 grand a week. And you're on 200 grand a week. And you say, right, I want a new contract. Well, how much do you want? I want 400 grand a week. We can't afford that. But you give John the hit, and he doesn't get half the sales I get. Well, we can't afford it. We're not going to do it. Well, I'm off then. You bloody idiots. Oh, you can't leave. You're turning your back on us. Oh, I don't want to. But you're paying John more money than me, and he's crap. Sort your head out. Oh, no, yeah, but we're going to try and get rid of John. Well, you haven't got rid of John, have you? So I'm not going to sign a new contract till John's gone, and I want to be the best paid player here. So, and that's the problem with United's wage structure at the moment. I totally agree if De Gea wants 400 grand a week, and if United don't want to pay him, well, you're idiots, because you've opened that barn door with Sanchez, and the only way you're going to shut it is to get rid of Sanchez. And how do you do that? I think the whole Alexis Sanchez deal makes no sense at all. A lot of people say, oh, he's on high wages because we got him for free. We didn't get him for free. He cost 30 million quid. We swapped him with Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan was probably worth about 30 million pounds. So a swap with Mkhitaryan is a 30 million pound swap, because that's the value of the player. We didn't get Sanchez for free, so it's not like we got him for free, so we just gave him it all in wages. We paid a fee for Sanchez, which was Mkhitaryan, and then we give him 400 grand a week. Why did we do that? Why did we give him 400 grand a week? I think the only reason we did it was to try and get one up on Man City, who refused to give him that money. Well done, Man City, because you dodged a bullet twice, and we bloody took them both. And now we are stuck with this player on massive wages, which not only makes it hard for us to sign players, but it also makes us hard to keep players, because they're all going, I want what he's on. And we're like, we can't afford that. Well, why did you do it in the first place then? You know, it makes no sense. Will you please do a show how to get rid of Alexis Sanchez? Is Pradney Wadkey. I tell you what, it'd be easier to do a show on how to find Madeline McCann. I don't know how we get rid of Alexis Sanchez. We need to be very lucky, because who's going to pay £400,000 a week to a player who's crap and is now 30? And we need a fee, a transfer fee as well. I just can't see it's going to happen. Chloe Jenkins, if I was Ollie, I would get the truth out of Pogba as soon as possible if he wants to go to, so Ollie has time to find a suitable replacement in time. Well, he can't go in this summer, Chloe, if we don't want him to go. Grandad33 says, Mark, you're always saying that Woodward is a great businessman. If it was him who agreed Sanchez deal, and it's not hard to sell a space on United shirt, everyone would want it. The bloke is a cock. No, but I think you've hit the nail on the head, Grandad. He's a brilliant businessman, Ed Woodward. I don't think he's a brilliant football man. The Sanchez signing was not a great business decision, and it wasn't a great football signing. And I think you needed to know football to know that. And how involved was Mourinho in that? But you look at some of the deals that Ed Woodward does around brands, he's brilliant. You look at some of the footballing decisions, not so good. Not so good. Hi Mark, Dan from Stoke-on-Trent. Love all your shows. The Glazers need to cough up and put us back where we belong, says Dan and Georgie Frost. I agree. I keep saying that. This summer is going to be very, very interesting. And Jizzle says, prediction for next year. I mean, it's like pissing in the wind. I don't know. But if you want a prediction, I think that we will finish in the top 4 next year. I don't know where. Maybe it'll be first. I don't know. Drop Sanchez and say he won't play another game. He'd rather reduce wage and play for another team for less money, says Ed Prince. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Andrew Ellis says, did you hear that the Glazers turned down money from Saudis, Mark? I heard the rumour about it. Maybe there's some legs in that. I don't know. But it raises the moral question again. Do you want to be owned by Saudi Arabian billionaires? I don't know. Jermaine Gibson says, Pogba's comments were taken out of context. He was just trying to give respectful answers while in France. He said he was happy with United. Well, you know, if you're pro Pogba, you're going to look at it like that. If you're against Pogba, you're going to say he was wrong to do it. What I would say is, because I like Pogba, what I would say is he shouldn't have said that Real Madrid is anybody's dream club. There's millions of other ways of saying that. He could have said Real Madrid are a big club. He didn't say it's everyone's dream to play for Real Madrid, because I think that was disrespectful. But a lot of things can get lost in translation, and ultimately, is it something that makes me think any less of Pogba? No. Is it anything that makes me think Pogba's going to leave? No. That's why I say I think we should all chill on it. Iron Soldier says, just don't play Sanchez at all. He'll get pissed off and will take a pay cut if he can go to another club. I don't know. I think it's a risk though, isn't it? I think it is a risk. It is a risk. Because some players are quite greedy and they'd be like, all right, then I'll just sit here and earn all my money. And Gerv says we could do a 50-50 or 60-40 wage split if we loan out Sanchez for a year. Yes. Yeah, we could. And that would probably be the best thing we could do. But then he's a year older and he's still got 2 years left on his contract next summer. I mean, how we solve it, I don't know. China's the way to do it. China will pay his wages, and that's the best thing to do. Get him off to China. I mean, Pogba also spoke about Barcelona. I mean, Palmer Aquatics says I couldn't see Pogba in a Real shirt. He did speak about. He did also speak about Barcelona as well. I just think this happens on international break, and it must be infuriating for the club, for any club, because you never know what's going to be said on an international break. But the reality is, Get them back in England, get them back in the United shirt, and let's get on with finishing in the top 4 and doing what we can against Barcelona. That's all that matters. The summer's going to be very interesting indeed, and the summer will take care of itself. And as a lot of you said, and as I've said as well, the hands of United's future is not in the hands of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or the players. It's regard to the board and how they're going to back this club over the summer. But we've got more pressing things to concern ourselves with in April. So, yeah. Right, everybody, link in the video description. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and on my Instagram. It's the United Stand Trials Day tomorrow from about 1 o'clock. We'll be putting up content. So, if you want to see what's going on, big day for the United Stand. United Stand FC is born tomorrow. Although it has already been born because we did get a team of players to beat Arsenal Fan TV. But we're doing it properly now. Kits, the lot. All coming up over the next few weeks. Really exciting. If you want to start seeing the story tomorrow, get on our Instagram. You can either follow me or the United Stand Instagram. Links in the video description. Give us a follow and we'll be putting stuff up tomorrow. And I will be back here at 8 o'clock tomorrow night with United Stand Sunday Night Show. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night, and thanks for smashing a like on the video, and I'll speak to you all very soon.